Dire team ban.
What's up, guys? And for the last time, welcome back to the Dota League Season 4 America. This is the last Division 1-2 game. The winner is going to be in Division 1 for Season 5, which is just around the corner. Loser has to stay in Division 4. And for the first time ever, we actually started on time, which is pretty sweet. I'm Mike Loris. I'm going to be joined by Grandis for this best of 3. How are you doing, man?
Radiant team
Doing just fine, and it should be a pretty interesting series between the Thundercats, or what were they called as previously?
Team.
That's right.
Worst team name ever.
It really is. I think the last team was also misspelled. I think it was the A before the E, if I remember correctly. And Boreal Esports. Boreal, unfortunately, haven't been looking as solid as I thought they'd be throughout the Join Dota League season, but hopefully for both of them, they'll be able to perform well. It is a full best of 3.
Yeah, so this is going to be pretty interesting. You can see Thundercats, they are all running with stand-in tags, but I'm pretty sure that's just because most of them, Archer is the one that's, I think, a real stand-in. Everyone else is on the official roster. So don't be fooled by the stand-in tags. They are lying to you. Taking a quick look at the bans, we see a rather early Batrider ban. Aside from that, things looking pretty much business as usual, as Boreal wastes no time picking up the axe. We've been getting so much traction lately, and I love it.
A hero that still hasn't really gotten boring to watch, and it's really hard to think of a time where Axe would be a boring pick, even if he has picked up pretty much every game, which right now he's getting very close to it. Combos well with the minus armor coming up from the bench, and yet another hero that after a long time of obscurity here and there, a pocket pick is really come to vogue. It's going to be the Troll Warlord for TC.
Yeah, so Boreal, they have a little bit of synergy there. The Helix with the minus armor can bring people down very quickly. Thundercats don't necessarily have that synergy, but that's not to say that their 2 picks are inherently worse or anything like that. Troll Warlord is a powerhouse, and you could easily build your team around the Troll Warlord, get more on-hit effects, and maybe you might not want to use Battle Chance once the Axe decides to call. Probably not a good idea, but after that, then, you know, you get a couple on-hit effects and you're going to be able to tear people to shreds. Lion, also a very solid support hero. Not as powerful overtly, I would say, as the Vengeful Spirit. Doesn't offer that life-saving utility, but you can never really say no to an instant hex. And if you do see the axe coming into, blink call, then if you press the hex button before that, then he will blink in and he will not be happy.
Yeah, definitely not. We'll be dropped in a heartbeat, especially when Finger of Death is up, and Vengeful Spirit especially is incredibly susceptible to that. Zeus as well as Viper going to be bans coming out from TC, and Doom Clockwork taken out by Boreal.
Alright, so the bans, nothing really too specific going on here aside from just getting rid of dangerous heroes. Thundercats looking to protect their mid lane, it seems, as much as they can. Troll Warlord is pretty good in lane. Like, he doesn't really have any terrible matchups, but there are matchups where he just slowly starts to fall further and further behind. Compare that to Boreal's bans, just getting rid of a little bit of bulk, and it's going... I think either one of those would have actually been fine, as odds are those heroes would have gone up against an Axe. An Axe doesn't really lose versus other melee heroes, but regardless, those heroes are taken out. The Doom, most notably, maybe going to set Boreal up for someone who's very heavy in mobility, maybe one of the Elemental Spirit heroes.
Yeah, it could be something that's on their mind. If they want to play this safe, they could just go for another one of their supports. Where they lane this Axe is also another question that's still to be answered. Probably going to see him in some way, shape, or form in the offlane and then jump over towards the jungle. It's going to be a puck for Boreal. Another nice hero to control the pace of the game.
Yeah, so now Boreal, between the puck, jump in, coil silence, Axe blinking in for a call. They have crowd control in spades, and not only do they have the crowd control, but they also have crowd control that goes through BKB. So, whenever you have one hero with that, you're usually pretty happy, but man, if you have so many tools to handle BKB users, then you're going to be very happy if you're Boreal. They have a pretty nice suite of initiation power, whereas for Thundercats, unless the Lion really gets off to a roaring start, he gets a fast blink dagger, which is possible but uncommon. It seems like they're going to be on the receiving end of initiations more often than not, and their counter initiation is fine, but so far it's nothing too spectacular.
Definitely not. Blink Daggers on the line in Earthshaker, although theoretically would be very useful, actually getting them is another story entirely. If Thundercats roll off of some momentum after some early ganks and get a line or Earthshaker Blink, maybe then they control some initiations with these supports, but as you said, more often than not it's going to be reacting either with a quick Hex or defensive Fissure.
Yeah, and I think at this point, like, there aren't really many other great initiators that they could grab, like Puck,
5
Batrider,
seconds
Clockwork, even the Axe, like to a lesser extent initiating. There aren't really many great ones that
Reserve
Thundercats
time.
can pick up that are cores. At least none come to mind, and even if they do pick up one, odds are it's just numerically not going to be them initiating most of the fights. So Thundercats are going to have to prepare themselves to be a little bit reactive. Grabbing AoE ultimates such as a Ravage could help in that. Like if you get blinked upon, if you get blink called, just pop the Ravage and you should be fine most of the time. But Thundercats, what they lack in initiation, they make up for in stuns. Like they have stuns and then some, so they will have more than enough answers to deal with Boreal, as Boreal pick up the Ancient Apparition. They are more stun light, but I mean they have enough to get by as well.
10 seconds remaining.
Definitely. So right now, both teams are lacking some really big punching
5
power, and we're
seconds remaining.
looking more towards those heroes as the draft progresses. Thundercats probably
Reserve
going to
time.
be considering an offlaner or a safe lane hero for themselves. As far as the offlane pool is concerned, it looks fairly limited.
Yeah, just I don't think of what they actually want to go for. I mean, for Boreal, it's just pick up someone who could do a lot of late game damage. Depending on how late they actually want to take this game, they could, you know, pick accordingly. It's not really clear which way they should be going. I think either way they could probably fly with. They want to grab someone a little bit earlier. Maybe they could grab someone a little bit later. Basically, it's choosing between Slark type hero or Medusa type hero for Boreal as their last pick. And well, Thundercats, they have a lot of stuns. They just have to make sure that their lanes aren't absolutely terrible. It seems like they just need someone with a little bit of base armor, as that's going to be what's threatening their lanes. They need to have someone who could also fight early. Slark is actually looking good for both sides, quite honestly.
Definitely. If not the Slark, maybe even a Jakiro if Thundercats really want to put the aggression on early, could be pretty useful.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the Jakiro, you get the Troll Warlord, and then things are dying really
Radiant
quickly.
team
Structures
ban.
are not going to last long, so that's maybe still a possibility. A lot less so now that the Weaver is on the field. Boreal, they have more than enough to deal with this Weaver. Blink Call is actually really good versus Weaver, and of course Puck can do a very
10
similar thing with the
seconds
Blink
remaining.
Waning Rift. It's a fine hero to have, and it's a good hero to
5
synergize with the Troll
seconds
Warlord, but
remaining.
doesn't seem like this is going to be a game where Weaver is going to be, you know, 100% running the map, as
Reserve
those
time.
sometimes pop up, those types of drafts, and then it's just disgusting to watch. But this game, the Weaver is definitely going to have to play on his toes.
Definitely. So for now, we're going to see what Boreal are most scared of for that last pickup from Thundercats. Honestly, there really isn't anything that immediately comes to mind. Tidehunter could be pretty good. He's managed to slip his way through the pool.
Yeah, Tide with some minus armor would be pretty sweet. But, yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. You already have a lot of late game damage, so you might as well grab someone like the Tidehunter. But I think Boreal should be kind of aware of the Tidehunter situation. The problem with picking up a Tide is that it is going up against an Axe in lane most likely,
Dire team
and that
ban.
is not good times for Tide, and, well, it's not even going to be an issue because he's banned.
Yeah. For now, Thundercats, we'll have to see what they're going to be most scared of. I think the Slark ban definitely has its merits here if they want to take that out of the picture.
Yeah, Slark is... man, dude, you're on fire. What's
Radiant
next? Tell me,
team
right now.
pick.
Oh my goodness. Now I'm on the spot and I have no idea.
Okay, I'm gonna call an Ember Spirit. It's not that great versus Lion Earthshaker, but that's the first thing that came to mind because I kind of want to see one. But if they want to grab like an Invoker or something, that would also be pretty sweet. I have no idea, honestly, what Boreal are gonna go for. They could also just go for super late game if they really
10
wanted to do
seconds
that.
remaining.
Maybe not the best versus a Troll Warlord, as unless you're going to grab
5
Basher
seconds
yourself, you're
remaining.
going to get into a situation where you're going to be flipping coins constantly in those duels late game, and unless you're mad farmed, you're not going to come out ahead. But Boreal, they have a couple of options here and there. Nothing really screams to be like the pick. There's no clear choice here for Boreal. It's really up to them.
Yep, and whatever that choice may be, it's going to be coming out fairly shortly for them.
10
But all
seconds
things
remaining.
considered, I quite like Boreal's draft. It just seems that all of their lanes should be pretty solid.
5
Vengeful Spirit and Ancient
seconds
Apparition
remaining.
pretty much win most tri-lane scenarios, and for them, it's going to be an anti-mage.
Alright,
Dire
it's a
team
reasonable pick. It's, again, going to have its answers on the Thundercat side. Troll Warlord with the mischance of the Whirling Axes plus with the bashing, making it so that Anti-Mage's life is not going to be the easiest. But between blinks and swaps, the Anti-Mage should be for the most part safe, even though he may be stunned up occasionally by a Lion or a Shaker. So both sides picking up these rather elusive heroes in the Weaver and AM. And because of that, I think this game might
10
get
seconds
to be a
remaining.
little bit of a longer game, just because both sides, they do have a lot of power. They'd
5
have
seconds
more than
remaining.
enough to kill off the respective carries. They might be a little bit less inclined to do so just because of the risk of
time.
wasting your time. Like, they could waste a whole bunch of time wandering around looking for an anti-mage, and if they don't draw that kill, then they're just going to be, burning daylight. That's not going to be something that they want to do. So I would expect this game to progress a little bit more to the later stages, and in that sense, Thundercats have an advantage. They could pick up another pseudo late game hero.
Yeah, they definitely could go for something along those lines. It really feels like this game could end up being incredibly close towards either side, and just one or two fights could spell the end of it if you get some crucial pickoffs here and there. And it really feels like the initiating heroes really need to be on the ball for Boreal. The Axe and Puck, if they find initiations
10
where the Line and
seconds
Earthshaker
remaining.
aren't in particular, so that they don't have that extra counter initiation power, then
5
things
seconds
could be going
remaining.
very well for Boreal. Should be an interesting game at the very least.
And these heroes for Boreal, the ones that are going to be the ones initiating, it's not even like those are heroes to initiate with. That's very difficult. Like, there are difficult initiators, like Wind Ranger. Like, you will like to initiate with that hero. You throw a shackle shot, and if you land 2 heroes, great, you're going to be very happy. But otherwise, your initiation just not going to happen. Shaker is the same way. Enigma. I mean, these are all heroes that are more secondary initiators than anything else. But it's really, really hard to mess up a Puck and Axe initiation, and in that sense, Boreal are going to have a little bit more control of the mid game once the game does progress up to that point. But the Wind Ranger pickup for the Thundercats, it's going to be that pseudo early game hero, but as far as late game heroes, you could certainly do a lot worse than her.
Definitely so. WWD is going to be playing on that Wind Ranger, Guanzo on the Weaver for TC, Ryza going to be playing in Lion, met by Archer on the support Earthshaker, and DK on the Troll.
Oh man, the flavor faux pas right now. Archer on the Earthshaker, standing right next to a Wind Ranger. It's bad, man. They should have fixed this. But on the Boreal side, KVH is going to be playing that Puck. We got 470 on the Axe with Sean on the Ancient Apparition. Loki's going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit, and that leaves 747 on the Anti-Mage. Starting things off with a pause because everyone has Skype problems or something. I don't know what the go-to excuse is these days, but it seems like we're going to be in this scenario once again. Hopefully not going to take too long. And yeah, no one likes this. Absolutely no one.
Pink apparently likes it. Wind Ranger needs a bit of a second here.
Maybe they misclicked and they were running low on time. Hopefully it's not an issue. Like, when that happens, there's like face palm, fail fish, everything. But Wind Ranger as the presumably offlane hero for TC, I don't really see many ways that they could flexibly change their lanes. Wind Ranger is a very old offlane hero. Like, back when she was first pick material, that's where she would go, and it would be fine, but man, she's not going to have a good game up against this lane. Just a blinking anti-mage is a threat enough.
Well, looks like there is going to be a little bit of a hero swap. Guanzo now going to be playing on the Wind Ranger, and it'll be... They actually switch for DK on the Troll?
No, it was just Weaver and Wind Ranger, I think.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it's WWD now on the Weaver.
Yeah, and everyone's swapping. God damn it. This is why we shouldn't introduce everyone until they actually start moving to their lanes. But no one really cares, right? This is pretty much just formality so that the players get their credit.
Maybe. I suppose so. It's also very tempting to introduce them since we start out with the pause. Like, what else are we going to talk about before the lanes?
We could talk about, there's cosmetics, boring ones. So I guess nothing. It's fine. It's fine. We don't have to waste our time anymore. We're good. We're happy, and we're going to be looking at these lanes as everyone's loading out, and it is looking like it's going to be a mid-axe for Boreal. Huh. I mean, it could be a pretty good way to go, and most of the time your matchup is going to be decent. Definitely not what I would expect, but maybe it's not going to be what TC expect either. There, again, aren't really many great matchups here for TC, except for the Wind Ranger versus Axe matchup, but that's clearly not going to be happening. At least it might not be happening.
No, it looks like it's going to be just 1v1 versus the Puck, and that should be a fairly even matchup. It looks like that's just going to be more or less a wash. But inside the Radiant Woods, they're going to spot eyes out on the Anti-Mage and company. But for now, no disables have been thrown out either side, and nobody can really get into range. KVH might be forced to level up Blink level 1, but I think that might be the only thing that actually comes out of this, and in fact, it doesn't even happen.
Yeah, leveling Blink level 1 isn't really a huge deal either. It's not like Anti-Mage is going to really be relying on some other skill in order to make this lane work. So an offensive tri-lane with Weaver, Lion Earthshaker, that's a lot of stun duration. The damage isn't really the highest here for TC, and in that regard, I'm a little bit concerned for how well they're actually going to perform in this lane, though the stunning duration isn't really here for Boreal, at least comparatively. They have Chilling Touch, and you're not going to beat Chilling Touch pretty much ever. Up towards the top river, Guanzo and 470 going to get into a duel. It's going to be the Wind Ranger to ultimately come out ahead as she grabs the bounty, and 470 is forced to bail. So minor start, minor win for this Wind Ranger, but honestly this lane should be almost a perfect wash.
Yeah, more or less. With that bounty rune, as well as with just a small innate advantage being in the safe lane where the puck is forced to be a little bit further away from the tower, slight advantage towards the Wind Ranger, but that could completely change. Most of the time we should be checking out this bottom and mid lane, and for now 747 is doing very well up against the Troll.
Yeah, I mean, you could just charge at the Troll, and though he is sometimes going to be ranged, he really doesn't want to be in ranged, and even if he is going to be throwing axes occasionally your way as Axe, I mean, you have 4 armor and a stout shield, you're not going to be taking any damage from this Troll, or at least nothing substantial, so Axe should have pretty much the run of the lane. A little bit of a problem here for Axe, just inherently in the mid lane, is that there is less room to chase down your enemies, and there's less room to get counter helixes. But it's not going to be too much of an issue. He just has to be concerned about not taking too much chip damage if he is running at the Troll constantly. The creep damage does add up if you let it stack up too high, but it's definitely, top lane actually. 470 looks like he took a power shot to the dome. Another power shot is primed. Do it. Archer shot, not going to do it. 20 HP, the puck survives, but the puck is going to have to also leave to go back to the base. So the Wind Ranger, man, we said it was going to be a wash. Wind Ranger with that slight edge now, turning into a much larger edge, as she is going to have a lot of time where the enemy is not going to be in lane.
Yeah, definitely, and that is going to tip things into the favor of Guanzo. Meantime, down towards bottom, Anti-Mage has been able to farm, whereas the Weaver just hasn't been able to find those creeps. Even though TC have a lot of disable on their side, as you already alluded to, the damage just isn't there, and the threat, it seems, of Chilling Touch is enough to keep them off of KVH for the most part. And as long as Loki 57 and Chuan are in position, how do you actually say that ancient apparition's name?
It's pretty much just SH as the X.
Chuan? Okay.
Yeah, that's good enough. So it's also the fact that both Venge and Ancient Apparition have ranged attacks, and though the Anti-Mage is going to have to walk into melee range and actually right-click things to last hit, he doesn't really have to worry about this Lion's harassment, whereas the Weaver kind of does. Like, the Vengeful Spirit gets close, you have less of a chance to dodge a magic missile with Shikuchi. It's near impossible if she's actually just right-clicking you initially. And between that and the threat of Ancient Apparition, the farm status of TC definitely not there. The Earthshaker is really going to be the reason why this is not going super great for TC, is because in lane, Earthshaker is actually really terrible in these types of situations.
Yeah, he's decent defensively for trying to protect farm in a safe lane, but without access to pulls, Archer is going to consistently fall behind throughout this entire game. That said, mid is pretty even, and top is being won by the Wind Ranger, so the status quo, it really feels like it's pretty much exactly in the middle. I don't really see any substantial advantage. TC have a slight gold lead, but I think that's mostly just due to the bounty runes.
Yeah, and that's not going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things. That should equalize itself out. There is the fact to be made that Anti-Mage is getting more farm than the Weaver currently, and he's having, in general, or I mean, they're having similar amounts of farm, but KVH is not having his farm shut down. There is a Sentry Ward that has been blocking the pole camp for some time. It's why Xuan has been pretty much just chilling in this bottom lane, but once that gets going, then, man, I don't really see TC being able to do anything. Maybe they catch someone pulling, and maybe just with their slew of stuns, they get a fissure block or something like that, but for right now, this offensive tri-lane is not keeping the Anti-Mage off the lane, and if you're not doing that, then in general, you could call that offensive tri-lane a failure. And then, as I said before, all the other lanes are a perfect wash, so this is going to mean that either side will have more time to farm. That means Puck, Blink Dagger, Axe, Blink Dagger, these are things that are going to be coming up in reasonable time.
Definitely, so we'll just have to see how this all breaks down, but for now we're in for quite a passive patch inside this game. There's not really any clear openings. Loki going to spot out a bounty rune, but Archer's going to be able to secure it without the Venge being able to contest. So small win, I suppose, for TC. They are going to drop Chilling Touch and blink aggressively onto Rise. They do get the Magic Missile, and this is very well going to be our first blood. Since they saw the Earthshaker going, there was no defensive visions, and that's going to mean a kill for Boreal.
Damage from Chilling Touch, man. I always say it's huge, but I'm always so dumbfounded at just level 1 Chilling Touch and how much damage it actually does. Granted, it is Lion. He's at 1 base armor, and when he's stunned, he can't really do anything in response. A level 1 spike isn't really going to get you very far, so KVH doing a truckload of damage there. Unfortunately for Boreal, don't draw the kill on the Anti-Mage, but they draw first blood nonetheless. And that was kind of spontaneous. Like, they just grabbed level 3, blink forward, Chilling Touches up, and there's actually nothing you could do as Lion except for not be there. But, I mean, how are you supposed to see that one coming? I don't know if you can see that one coming. Up over towards the mid lane, DK is going to be in a little bit of trouble now. No counter helixes at all from 747, though, and DK is going to live because of it. Man, sometimes the RNG gods are just not in your favor.
And with the regen rune in the bottle, DK is going to be just fine to stay in lane. And yeah, just very unfortunate. One more spin, that would have been an easy dunk. I really think that it was because the Earthshaker went for that bounty rune that they were able to find that kill. It was just like, oh, now we don't have to worry about Fisher, and we can blink very aggressively into the enemy team. And so for now, Boreal are going to be happy with what they're getting in the Blink Dagger, although it's going to be delayed. Since 747 has gone for Tranquils and now for a bottle, is going to be well on the standard path, probably about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, even though they started that gank just because the Earthshaker was away from lane, they took it so convincingly that even if the Earthshaker was there, I'm pretty sure they probably could have gotten their target. Would have been a little bit messier, maybe would have resulted in a trade or something like that. It wouldn't have been as great, but man, they demolished that Lion, and they can just rinse and repeat. And this is pretty much forcing Archer to stay very, very far away. That means he's not going to get any gold anytime soon, and the odds of him getting kills or anything like that is extremely low. So this Earthshaker, he's going to be broke for the entire game. Granted, Ancient Apparition Venge not going to get a whole lot of income either, but their pull camp is actually not going to open up. They re-sentried that pull camp. TC, they're doing their best to make sure that they win this bottom lane, and they're slowly but surely pulling ahead across the last hit board, but man, this is a pretty steep investment to not really win the game, not really win the lane convincingly.
I don't think so.
Yeah. For now, I think it's going to be up towards runes whether we actually see a kill or not. DK, there was an attempted call onto him from 747, but not actually going to connect with that one. So, yeah, we're just going to be in the same state. Drinkwell up towards top, however, as they go for Guanzo. TP attempt from the Wind Ranger going to succeed as there's just not enough damage. It's the Anti-Mage to die down towards bottom as Lion secures that. Now goes aggressively into Loki 740, or Loki 57. My goodness. The bug is doing quite a bit of damage. It's not going to be enough, however. 20 HP. Venge survives.
And Anti-Mage has that blink, has that level 1 spell shield, and was sitting at strength treads. Blind Fissure, not quite going to do it. Loki is fine, even if he was hit by that. But as soon as level 6 is popped by DK, you see the battle trance there. You see the Anti-Mages get torn to shreds with the slew of stuns from TC. That's pretty much the play that I was waiting for them to execute. It is going to take a hell of a long time. Lion at level 1 is not really a good hero when you only have 1 point Earth Spike. But once you get just a little bit more, then getting a kill on the Anti-Mage is going to be very hard, but possible. Over on the Axe's side of the map, he is farming with Tranquils. He is going to get spotted out right now. A couple of damage power shots. Shackle, how did that not land? That was so weird, but 747 still is in a hell of a lot of trouble. Going to try to run through the trees. Another power shot's going to clear most of the map. Whirling Axes plus right clicks will kill off that Axe. Hell of a lot of investment, but they get the kill anyway. In the meantime, Anti-Mage is going to slay the Lion down towards bottom. Pretty much even trades across the board. However, TC, they do have to rotate their Wind Ranger out from that, leaving 470 to get free farm towards top.
Yeah, which is going to be really nice for 470. Since he wasn't having the greatest of times up against the Wind Ranger, it was still pretty even, but now Puck, given that extra free space, is going to be very happy for his current state. And they also leave KVH to not only free farm, but get that kill onto the Lion. So even though it is a pretty high priority target, and shutting down that Blink Dagger is important, it's probably not as important as what Boreal got.
Yeah, so Boreal going to be okay with that, and Axe, he is going to be on his Blink Dagger anyway. Or he should be soon enough, and really there's no similar item for TC. Like the Troll Warlord in the mid lane, he's going to be taking a very, very linear path. Maybe he's going to go for something like a mech, maybe he's just going to go for a Sanjin Yasha. Either way, he's not going to have any huge leap of power, whereas the Axe for sure will. KVH over towards bottom lane, going to get hit with an Earth Spike plus a Fissure. No real commitment there just yet, but I think if they actually went for it, they probably could have gotten it done. Regardless, they are now flexing their muscles in the bottom lane, and they're slowly but surely pulling ahead of the Anti-Mage. Despite the fact that Anti-Mage is last sitting under the tower now, and he can do that with the amount of base damage that he has, he's just playing so much more scared after his first death, and sometimes that's all you need. You just need to instill some fear in the enemy carries' hearts to shut down their farm.
Yeah, they're going to attempt to fissure connects, but KVH is on the other side, so they can't go for that any further. But then again, these two supports need to be so careful. In fact, Loki going to go all the way back towards base, up towards top. Guanzo going to eat a Dream Coil. Shackle latches, and he's going to be able to turn. As long as Guanzo doesn't step that coil, he's going to be just fine. But with no TPs on any of the other heroes, they won't be able to kill off this Wind Ranger.
Man, that was such a close duel. Puck just falling short off of that one, and Wind Ranger once again going to pull ahead off of this mid lane. It's so incredibly difficult to land Wind Ranger skills versus a Puck, but if you somehow manage to, then, well, first of all, you feel like a baller, and second of all, you're probably going to be getting kills thereafter. So Wind Ranger with a little bit of help from the Troll Warlord, going to be collecting over towards top lane, over towards mid, 747 and DK once again going at it. It's going to once again result into nothing.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, even after a bash onto 747, Chase for the Bounty Rune is going to favor the Axe as he secures that one, fills up his bottle. They potentially look for a turn on to DK, but 747 is just dropping too low. Loki 57 from the sidelines has a Magic Missile, will commit it, but Axe has already fallen. Will he be able to get this return kill onto DK? He doesn't have melee access for 3, 2, 1 seconds, and that's going to mean that he can't actually make a turn by himself, and he has an Invis line waiting in the wings. Let's see if this is going to net them anything. It is only a level 4 Lion, so no Finger of Death at the ready, but Wind Ranger is now close, and they bottle up DK, and now the Puck is dead. 470 going to be hexed up, and that's all she wrote. Going to be Earth Spiked, and that's going to kill her on impact.
Oh, they also caught Loki with a fissure. He's going to try to run to the trees. Shackle is going to be impossible to miss in that area, and Loki's going to fall as well. TC going all around the map, and an Invis Rune Lion, man. Even though he's not level 6, having an instant hex, it's actually impossible to react to if you're that Puck, and if you don't see that Invis Rune being picked up, there's no chance of him to survive. And Vengeful Spirit definitely didn't expect Archer to rotate it, and hell, I wouldn't expect the Earthshaker to be there as well, as his job primarily is going to be protect the Weaver. But him leaving the Weaver down towards the bottom lane, not really going to put WWD at that much risk, also going to result in a couple of kills and a tower push for TC, and now with that tower down, they're free to apply that much more pressure to the bottom lane. Suddenly, the map control of Boreal, though it was pretty good once that tower was up, once this Observer Ward times out, their map control is going to be almost nil, and the Anti-Mage is going to be under that much more pressure.
It really didn't take a lot for TC to actually gain this advantage and start snowballing it. It really shows inside the graphs. What just a couple minutes ago is only about 1,000 gold lead, right now is above 5,000, and experience looking pretty similar, although not as drastic.
And that's just the product of a couple of kills here and there, a couple of towers here and there, a vastly or slightly superior farm situation. These are not huge things. These are just small incremental advantages, and because of those incremental advantages, now they're looking at a Weaver with Power Treads, Ring of Aquila. He's pretty much ready to go, and he's holding on to quite a bit of cash as well. Crucially, they have a Finger of Death on Ryuza, and really they don't need anything else. Like, they have drums on the Troll Warlord, it's fine, nothing much on the Wind Ranger, but really, do Boreal want to fight this? Because they don't have a Blink Dagger on the Axe, they won't have a Blink Dagger on the Puck for a hell of a long time. You're fighting into a Finger of Death, and unless you isolate the Lion, blink onto him, silence him, crowd control him in some way, someone is going to be dying on your team, and that's at the very least one person dying. So I think Boreal, they're now firmly on the back foot, especially after having lost another tower down towards bottom. Their jungle is now going to be pretty much out of their control completely. You could try to go in there, but stacking, you could kiss that goodbye.
Completely. Axe as well as Puck, after going 0-2 and really not accomplishing anything on themselves, or by themselves, haven't been able to find their Blink Daggers. And although the one on the Axe is coming up shortly, it doesn't seem to be fast enough right now. They need some way to control the fights, and it's just not there yet.
And once those do come up, then it's going to be another breath of fresh air for Boreal. Maybe they're going to make something happen off of that. And it's up to TC to really just keep applying that pressure and, lay it in before those items actually come up. They know what those timings are. Like a Blink Dagger Axe, you're going to be surprised by it, and most likely it's going to lead to one of your allies dying in some way, shape, or form. So it's going to be them pressing their advantage as much as they can, or Boreal, they're going to be running into Ryuza, or who's even running into who actually. Spike comes out, Finger of Death, Fissure won't quite get the kill, but 747 will die anyway. Ice Blast also misses. Bugs connect onto Loki, he's going to try to TP out, but a Hex is going to cancel that, and now Loki's also going to fall. No one else is coming in, but it's just going to be a couple kills. That should not have gone that well for TC. Lion not hesitating at all to blow his entire payload, and well, Axe, as tanky as he may be, is not going to withstand a Finger of Death. TC just obliterate Boreal in their own jungle, while at the same time DK and the Wind Ranger are cleaning up the top lane. This is just getting very, very bad for Boreal very quickly.
It definitely is. And even though it doesn't look like a lot, losing 270 gold or so on the Axe is 270 gold that not only is he not going to have for the blink well up towards top, they are going to jump into Guanzo with the HF version Ice Blast landing. That is going to be Wind Ranger death after committing the Dream Coil. But right now, it's going to take a lot more for X to actually pick up that crucial blink. Even though they lose the Wind Ranger, and that's a nice pickoff in all for Boreal, it's still not the end of the world. They're still controlling this map, and very well, too.
Man, that's the hard initiation that I was talking about before. Wind Ranger blinking in for a shackle, and the puck phase shifted it, and that's pretty hard to do. So all credit to the puck, but still, Wind Ranger is not really the hero that you want to make those types of plays. You want a blinking puck or a blinking axe to be the one starting that, and that is again a weakness, inherent weakness of the TC side. Maybe that because they're doing so great, they're going to get a blink dagger fast on Ryuzawa, but no, he's going to be buying a hell of a lot of sentries and observe wards and all those supporty items for the Lion. So his blink dagger is pretty much never going to come out. It's actually going to be the Shaker who's going to be getting a little bit more farm, and a blink dagger on Earth Shaker is a lot more explosive, but I would say blink on Lion is a lot more consistent.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Blink Hex is always really wonderful to have, but if you find the right moment, a Blink Echo Slam trumps that 9 times out of 10 if you can get your full creep wave and more than 2 heroes.
TC, they're pushing down the bottom lane, and they're holding control of the mid lane. It seems like they want to go for Roshan, and with a fresh Vlad's being picked up on DK, Roshan is going to be a breeze for them. Boreal, they have the Ice Blast, and they have themselves smoked up already, so they know exactly what's going on. The question is, can they actually do anything about this? Axe does have his blink, Puck doesn't. But if you get caught in this area with an Axe, you could just instantly die. Boreal, they do know about this, right? Doesn't seem like they quite are going to commit. Okay, 747 is leading the charge. This could be disastrous for TC, but they're all going to blink out after taking the Aegis with a 2-man shackle shot. That's a 2-man spike setup as well. Both those 2 heroes perfectly chain stun. Axe is going to fall without casting anything. 470 will get the orb out. He's going to do a lot of damage to DK, and that might be lethal, but he does have the Aegis even if he does die. WWD with the BKB is going to clean the rest of the heroes up. Everyone on TC is going to survive, and Boreal get absolutely nothing. That shackle shot, man, you feel like a champ whenever you land one of those, and Guanzo just delivered.
That little bit of hesitation from Boreal, it really feels like it cost them that initiation. That's your blink dagger up on Archer as well, and TC, they have pretty much all of the tools that they could ask for this portion of the game. BKB on Weaver means you're hardly ever killing him, even though they do have some tools up against BKB, like the Call, as well as the eventual Spirit Swap. It's not enough when you're dealing with such a mobile hero like Weaver.
Oh man, another shackle shot landing the mid lane. Instant finger of death from Ryuzawa. That was the longest spike I've ever seen in my life, but he gets the kill, so I'm not going to care too much about that. 747 looking to blink call in, but a fissure from the high ground, and Archer is going to bail out his friends and at the same time show off his blink dagger by getting away from that situation. 311 and TC cleanly disengaged from mid lane. They still have the Aegis on the Troll Warlord. Man, they could pretty much do whatever they want right now. They have all the initiation power that they need with the Earthshaker stuns, and clearly the Wind Ranger is capable of landing those shackles. So for Boreal, they have to just turtle up, and I think it's getting to a point where they're slowly but surely getting more and more reliant on their anti-mage. And 17 minutes in, you don't want to be reliant on your anti-mage. Not yet. That happens 30 minutes in.
Yeah, especially not an anti-mage that doesn't have his Battle Fury yet. KVH is still quite a ways away from it, or at least it feels like it. Still about 800 gold till he has that item, and even once he picks up the Battle Fury, it's not going to be enough for him to fight, especially not if he dies here. They have a Blink Shackle at the ready. Let's see if they catch out KVH. WWD going to show himself. Blink Shackle going to connect beautifully. They have the call to counter-initiate. WWD is going to be spun down with the Axe Trap version ultimate as well as the Mana Void. That is going to be 2 kills and a nice turn coming out from Boreal.
Alright, so even though Wind Ranger landing the shackles is pretty sweet, you still don't want to clump up versus Boreal. It doesn't really matter what scale you're going. Earthshaker's going to snipe the Anti-Mage with an Echo Slam in the meantime, but it's going to be DK chasing after the rest. Oh man, I can only assume that was just a Blink Echo. Yeah, I didn't quite catch that one. Hex was used as well, so Anti-Mage getting blindsided, making it so that the trade for the TC side isn't really the worst. Then they still have enough power here with these heroes, especially that Troll Warlord being alive, to go for this tower push. But man, Axe is just such a threat right now. He hasn't really gotten that much done this game, 1-4-1, but it doesn't mean he's not able to kick your ass if he finds the opening, and this is a pretty good opening for him to go in. Only catching Ryuzawa, no creeps here, yet he's still getting a couple spins. Ryuzawa is going to die to the puck. Whirling Axes get thrown, DK stunned up. He does have that Aegis, so he can go ham if he wants to. Archer, though, doesn't have an Echo Slam. He doesn't really have anything to stun either. He has no Fissure. He's going to get chopped down, and, well, someone kill him. There it is. Vengeful Spirit's going to claim that kill. DK now on the way out. Might be in a body bag, although I don't think 470 has quite enough chasing power. Shaker will die, and it's going to be reinforcement of the Guanzo. Catching Schwan with that shackle shot will get 1 kill, but now blink forward call. Guanzo's going to get decapitated, and it seems like TC just might be slipping a little bit too far away. DK is going to jump right and get 1 more kill. Has WWD incoming as well with those bugs. KVH has to get out of there right now, but he can't. Bashed up, and now they're going to go for more. 747 taking a hell of a lot of damage, though he should be durable enough to go unless they dive this tower, and they're not scared. WWD and DK, they really want this axe. I don't think they could actually get him. Another set of whirling axes. The call's there. DK is going to get decapitated, and Axe is going to survive with 16 HP. Troll Warlord should make it out of the situation alive. He will be A-okay. WWD will fail to kill off his target as well. But TC, they might be getting to a stage where they think they're a little bit too far ahead. That was certainly a messy series of fights for them, but ultimately it doesn't go too terribly as they do take the tower in the end.
Yeah, that fight was one of the best ones that Boreal have taken in a long time. A lot of credit going towards the Axe throughout all of that, and after a long period of passivity, 2-4 and 2, mostly just in the last couple of minutes, he's been able to turn that around. Ancient Versional Ice Blast going to land in mid onto nothing, and WWD and company should be able to fall back here. It's probably wiser for them just to wait for the next round of items before actually going aggressive again.
Yeah, especially when you have a Troll Warlord who's just hop, skipping to jump away from a full Sanjin Yasha. Your Weavers packing on to 2,000 gold, so I don't really think this is a Lincoln Sphere game. Like, Mana Void, Culling Blade, Magic Missile is pretty much it. And Cold Feet, that's not quite good enough for a Lincoln Sphere, I would say, if you're WWD. But he's going to get Blink called over in the mid lane. He was Shikuchi. He has time to time-lapse if he get out, but he can't. Finger of Death, though, going to make an even trade on the puck. Now 747 is going to get stunned by Archer. Will be brought down. They're also going to try to chase for more. Loki and KVH have to get the hell out of here. Guanzo looking for a shackle angle. It's going to be Schwan to escape for now as Loki's going to get chased down by DK. Blink, shackle, not quite there. Shackle will be thrown. That will get the kill. Or it will secure the kills. DK is going to tear his way through that Vengeful Spirit. Man, your Weaver gets initiated like that, getting surprised through Shikuchi. You lose him, but man, turning around for 3 kills, TC still getting beneficial trades.
For sure. I thought that would have gone disastrously for them, but just the raw amount of power that they have in the other heroes. And if they got off the time-lapse on that Weaver, it could have been disastrous. That is going to be a tier 2 tower immediately after the fact falling. Even though Glyph is going to be committed for this one, it's only going to delay for a couple of seconds as DK and company will be able to smack it down. Blink up towards top. They get the Echo, and now with the follow-up Enchant Totem, they'll be able to bring down KVH low, but is it low enough? He blinks down the low ground, Fissure snags him out. KVH still survives, he goes towards the right, and it doesn't look like anybody knows where he is, so we'll be able to make a Blink TP out.
I don't know how that Fissure actually worked. Like, it seems like he held on to it for just a little bit too long. If he just threw it all out in sequence, like spammed all of his skills or Shaker, I feel like they could have gotten that kill. Regardless, Anti-Mage is going to be so happy that he gets to live because he is packing that Battle Fury, so he is pretty much at the full farm state for Anti-Mage, or at least his top farming speed. It's still going to be a long time before he has enough to actually make significant contributions to this fight outside of a Mana Void, so he's going to need a lot more farm. In TC, they have now a Blink Dagger, or Blink Dagger Gold available for Ryuza, and there's the Blink Dagger right there. They have a Maelstrom on the Wind Ranger. They could go in for another round down on the bottom lane, and these fights that TC have been taking, they've been getting more and more, messed up and clustered as the fights progress, but they've also been going well for TC every single time, so maybe they're going to wait for Roshan if that's the patient play that they want to make, but if they want to go for it right now, yeah, they could probably do it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. As far as WWD's item is concerned, he's sitting on 1 Mithril Hammer, and although this is probably a Desolator, I, for one, wouldn't be opposed to seeing a Maelstrom for it. It's already nice to have it with the Gemini attack, getting double procs of lightning and what have you, but especially when you have Battle Trance. Battle Trance with 2 Maelstroms, everybody's just going to be burnt down so quick. It really depends on when they want to push. If they want to go now, I say Maelstrom is better.
Yeah, Maelstrom is a very much so early game item in the fact that it does do a lot more work the earlier you get it, and this is still the time where Maelstrom is going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage with that Chain Lightning, and hell, maybe down the line you're going to be packing 2 Mjolnirs on the team. That's fine too. It's like, Anti-Mage, who do you want to hit? The answer is nobody. They're going to go for the bottom lane, and I don't think this tower is going to be defended. Boreal know exactly what happened last time. They're going to lose their tower in a hurry. Battle Trance is there. This is even without the Troll Warlord. Where is he anyway? He's over towards mid lane. Not needed for this push, and well, that's fine for TC. They now have no more outer towers to worry about. They're going to defend the top lane, and now I think it's going to be wait for Roshan while farming at the same time, then try to make a high ground play.
Yeah, and they should be able to do that very easily. WWD, since he is holding his gold, looks like it is going to be Deso, and that'll make going for Roshan and this structure is even easier, if that's even possible. With Focus Fire as well as the Troll ulti dropped with Desolator effect on the towers, they're only going to be there for a matter of seconds. And Boreal, it's a really dangerous game for them. Even if they trade evenly in the fight, that isn't really enough. They need to take it convincingly, and it looks like they're going to try to take it on their own terms with smoke, coming out from Puck Axe as well as Venge.
DK grabs an Invis rune though, so he's going to be more or less fine. KVH is farming in the meantime, and Wind Ranger is going to be the one in the most trouble, but it's difficult to kill her. They're going to catch DK, and they might have enough to bring him down. Shackle on the KVH though, and they can turn this around with a 3-man fissure. It's certainly possible now. Finger of Death going to snipe the Puck. They're going to try to go for Archer, who is coiled up. Loki doesn't have quite enough damage to actually get this kill, though. Shaker is still A-OK, and Ryuza on the low ground just waiting for that chilling touch to run out so that he can throw more disables. There it is onto Loki. Battle Trance is there, and DK is going to tear his next target to shreds. Next is going to be 747, who for some reason is still here. Don't really know why, but it's going to be a double kill for DK, giving him a godlike streak. No Roshan is available. It's unfortunately for TC a very long ways away. But yet again, they take another serious engagement, and DK doesn't even die. He really doesn't even come close to dying there. They were all over that fight, TC.
Yeah. 747 was looking for a snipe onto Archer earlier. That's why the Axe was trying to jump in, but a slick blink away from Archer is going to stop him mid-dunk animation and end up securing another kill. And now TC, this is going to be a very easy high ground push for them. They have the Deso on the Weaver, although he's not even here. Doesn't matter, they just chip away at this tower, and that's without Focus Fire, the attack speed on Guanzo. They buy back on the Axe, but TC have already gotten pretty much what they came for. It's going to be a free tier 3.
Yeah, it's the thought that counts for the Weaver. He gets some gold as, you tried kind of bonus for him. And man, TC, they have like all this potential item growth that really doesn't matter because they are pretty much at their peak for this stage in the game. They would love Roshan to be up right now, as if they manage to snag Roshan right now, Boreal, they might be able to defend it, especially with this Ice Blast constantly scouting, but again, it's going to be one of the longer Roshan respawn timers, so TC, they're going to have to stick around this area for a very long time. It's going to be top lane pushing in towards the TC side of the map, but man, they could give away a tier 2 and still feel so comfortable in this game because man, they have the other lanes of tier 1s still up. I don't know how that's a thing, but Boreal just haven't gotten any of these towers, and those towers are probably going to stay alive for a very, very long time in this game.
KVH, at the very least, is going to be working towards his Manta style and is going to have enough gold to complete that now, but still this Anti-Mage isn't a threat, really. When you look at TC's lineup, you have the Blink Hex, you have the Blink Echo Slam to jump onto him if he gets bashed, or pretty much any of the damage coming out from TC is going to be way too much for this Anti-Mage to deal with. Right now, it really kind of feels like he needs a Heart Basher to really compete.
Yeah, good luck farming all of that, and I mean, by the time he gets a Heart Basher, I don't even know what the Weaver is going to have. I have no idea what the Troll is going to have, but I can tell you that it's going to be items at the very least comparable to that of KVH, so he's going to need to accelerate his farm by a lot, and even when that happens, until he gets some sort of evasion, the bashing on the Troll Warlord is going to be so detrimental to him. Like, he can't actually fight effectively, even though he may have his Manta-style illusions once the bashes flow. WWD and DK are going to take Roshan, and this time you can see how bad of a state Boreal are in. They're not even going to make a trade. They're in fact going to get hexed upon. 470 going to drop a coil onto Archer, dropping him pretty low, but now the Shackle plus the Fissure. KVH in a lot of trouble. Finger of Death is there. 20 HP is going to live. Spike goes on to 747 instead of the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage gets sniped by the power shot though. Guanzo jams it home, and now they're going to look for 747. They won't quite find the Axe, but they get the Anti-Mage in style. My god, this Wind Ranger is the real deal. They have the Aegis still, and they could go for yet another high ground push in the mid lane.
Yeah, that Earth Spike was questionable. I don't really have a word for it. Greedy, maybe, but I mean, you can't really ask for anything more perfect. Really nice Wind Ranger play all around from Guanzo throughout this entire game. 3-3 and 13. It's not the flashiest of KDAs, but his performance definitely has been.
And of course, all of that was opened up by a very simple Blink Hex from the Lion. It's next to impossible to do anything about that as an Anti-Mage, and this isn't a tanky Anti-Mage either, so he can't really just withstand all of that. DK, alone in the enemy base, gonna get tied down to the floor with that Cold Feet. He does not care. He's just chilling. He's actually bottling while that's happening, or he got bottled while that's happening, so I don't really know how that works. He's gonna be drinking the charges while frozen, and then going straight for the Ranger Axes. They're going to jump onto him, do a lot of damage to him, but a nice Shackle Shot once again. KVH is going to jump right into the middle of everything. Echo Slam's going to miss, but KVH is locked down. He can't get anything out at all. Not a single hit, I don't even think. They're going to chase forward for Schwan, who's also completely boned. He's going to die. Who else is next? I don't think anyone else is next. Boreal, they're going to tap out 10-26, a sub 30-minute game, and TC are going to crush Boreal in this game number 1.
Victory.
Even though for about the first 10 minutes or so of this game, it looked really close, all it took was just a little bit of an advantage. And even though there was some glimmers of hope for Boreal throughout the game, Team or Thundercats just looked so solid and are going to round things out in game number 1.
All right, guys, this is a best of 3, so maybe Boreal can bring it back. Maybe Thundercats are going to solidify their spot in Division 1 for Season 5. We'll see in the next game. But for right now, I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Grandis V, and we'll be right back for game number 2.